Good morning. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis, and we've got your HCC news and information for the next half hour. Glad to have you join us wrapping up this week. We've got a co-host this morning. He's always here on Fridays. Frank Cooper is joining me live from his home. Good morning, Frank.
Morning, boss man. How's your Friday going?
It's going good. It's going good. It's finally Friday. Looking forward to a couple of days off. If the weather will just cooperate. It's just a soupy mess outside right now.
It is. But you know what? One thing about weather, if it's like this, I have no problem napping throughout the weekend. So that's always a win for me.
You have no problem napping throughout the workday either. So
don't tell HR, man. Come on now. Hey guys, Up to the Minute's on here 5 days a week. Catch the latest episodes on YouTube. All you gotta do is hit the notification button, HCC Up to the Minute for all our latest episodes. We're also on social media. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all the major social media platforms. So let's grow the show.
All right, Frank, let's get started. We'll check in with you in a little while. Maybe we'll talk a little sports while we're at it as well.
Awesome.
Okay, we got some important guests for you. First off, we've been celebrating all of our NISOD winners here on Up to the Minute. We've got a number of them here at HCC. Today is no exception. We've got Shilpa Phanse, and Shilpa is the program coordinator with computer programming with the Digital and IT Center of Excellence, and she's also a 2021 NISOD winner. Good morning, Shilpa.
Good morning, Todd. Good morning, everybody.
Well, we're looking forward to talking to you. Congratulations, by the way. We're going to have more with you in just a few moments. Fridays with the hashtag Film Friday, and we're going to talk about a very important film. We've got Dr. Phillip Gardiner here joining us now, and Dr. Gardiner is the co-chair of the African American Tobacco Control Leadership Council, and he's our Film Fridays guest. Good morning to you, Dr. Gardiner. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
We want to talk about a very important documentary that's out there. And, we do have a lot of our film students watching right now, and many of them are studying film and particularly with documentaries. And you've got an important one called Black Lives, Black Lungs. This is about how African Americans were targeted in cigarette campaigns that are stretching back 60 years. Maybe you can start off telling us about this.
Well, it's unfortunately pretty straightforward. If you take anything away from this, in 1953, African Americans, only 5% of them smoked menthol cigarettes. By 1968, that had almost tripled to 14%. By 1976, that had tripled again to 42%. By the mid-2000s, it was over 80%. Today, 85% of African American adults smoke menthol cigarettes, and that's because of the targeted marketing of the tobacco industry, of putting money into giving free cigarettes away, more advertising. Something you may not know, that menthol cigarettes are cheaper in the Black community, and that's why that meteoric rise went down.
Well, we see these ads back from the 50s and 60s, and you see them today, and they're kind of terrifying, where it talks about cigarettes and will make you, make things smoother for you, make you feel at ease, calm your nerves when you get home from a long day at work. And also, I guess one of the things they were campaigning with was that menthol is an anesthetic. Is that true with the campaigns that they launched?
Well, they never said it directly, but that's chemically what menthol is. It is an anesthetic. It has a numbing effect, a cooling effect. In short, it allows the poisons and toxins in cigarettes to go down easier. The more it allows for deeper inhalation. The deeper you inhale, the more nicotine you take in. The more nicotine you take in, the more addicted you become. That's just the facts of why they put menthol in cigarettes.
And is it true I think from one of your graphics you provided for us, the marketing targeted African Americans who became more interested in enrolling in college, and it seemed like the marketing doubled down to aim at them. Is that correct?
I'm not aware of those I think what's true is that the tobacco industry documents show that they saw particularly African American males, as trendsetters, and that if you could influence them, they would have influence on other groups of people around the country. So them smoking menthol cigarettes or wearing baggy pants or doing this and that became social norms.
Did your documentary look into how much marketing, certain cigarette companies would do towards, general audience, and then how much marketing they would do towards the African American community? As far as dollars, were they spending more dollars towards the African American community?
Well, first we should clear up one thing. It's not my film. I'm just one of the people that were interviewed in the film. Right. Lincoln Monday produced and directed Black Lives, Black Lungs, and shout out to him. Secondly, in terms of the tobacco industry fund, they've done this with a number of groups. They have focused at times on the LGBTQ community and spent disproportionate amounts of money there. You should be aware that the majority of women who smoke menthol cigarettes. Yeah. The majority of Puerto Ricans who smoke menthol cigarettes. So they've done a number of targeted marketing around this. The majority of Native Hawaiians who smoke cigarettes smoke menthol cigarettes. And that's because they have developed campaigns in these communities to influence their buying habits.
Did they bring in celebrity spokespersons? Because I know that happened in a lot of campaigns. I seem to remember years ago, famous actors, of course, many of them dead now, but were promoting cigarettes. Was that done on also these campaigns as well?
Exactly. So, in 1963, when the March on Washington is going on and the bombing of the church in Birmingham, Alabama is going on, you have Elston Howard of the New York Yankees catchers making TV commercials promoting Cool cigarettes. You had Willie Mays promoting Cool cigarettes. You had the Cool Jazz Festival that was set up. Yeah. You had Miles Davis smoking Newports. You had John Coltrane smoking menthol cigarettes. They all have died from this. This has gone on and on and on. It's only here recently that we've had some movement away from that. In 2016, the NAACP agreed to support local campaigns to get menthol off the marketplace. In 2013 and 2017, Delta Sigma Theta sorority, Inc., also passed resolutions to get rid of menthol. And I don't know if you're aware of this, Todd. My organization, the African American Tobacco Control Leadership Council, has filed suit against the FDA for dragging their feet of keeping menthol on the market. We've been joined by the American Medical Association, Action on Smoking and Health, and now the National Medical Association. So there's a lot of people upset with how they've been going about this.
Where does that lawsuit stand right now?
Well, the punchline is this. We were told in January of this year that the Department of Justice and the FDA would respond to something called the Citizens Petition. The Citizens Petition was put forward in 2013, and it essentially gathered a lot of material to send to the FDA to say, even though you said that removing menthol from the marketplace would be beneficial to the public's health, they said that in 2011, that you hadn't done anything yet. So this material was sent to them. They never acted on that. We filed a lawsuit in June of last year in 2020. The DOJ came to us and said, well, we'll respond to the Citizens Petition so the suit doesn't have to go forward. We said, well, we'll wait and see what your response is. January 29th came. They wanted 90 more days. That means that on April 29th, 2 weeks from now, that they're supposed to respond to this. Let's be clear. Whether they agree, disagree, or they find some middle road, and they'll find a middle road. Right. There's still the fight to get menthol off the marketplace will continue. Even if they agree, they will have to set up 18 months of rulemaking and public testimony and et cetera.
Dr. Gardiner, I want to retrack a bit because you mentioned something in conversation just a moment ago that just blew my mind. The Cool Jazz Festival. When you think of jazz festivals, that's one of the most famous ones with, I can't think of the numbers of artists that have been through it throughout the years, but you just think about it and that just encompasses exactly what you're talking about because it's synonymous with the jazz festival, that name Cool, and they're hitting the target market.
You said it better than I
mean, it blows my mind because I'm so familiar with that jazz festival, and I never thought of it in that way. You just think the cool jazz festival, but it was sponsored by the cigarettes.
It was sponsored by the tobacco industry, definitely, and they sponsor all sorts of other things too.
Right.
It's interesting that many HBCUs, historically Black universities and colleges, sometimes couldn't exist if it wasn't money from the tobacco industry. We're talking about the same people that are killing you. Look, tobacco smoking in the Black community is the #1 killer of Black folks, period. More than homicides, car accidents, AIDS, all of them put together. It's tobacco. And the main vector into the Black community for death and disease are menthol cigarettes and flavored little cigars.
Dr. Gardiner, where can people see the documentary if they're interested?
If you just go to Google and put in Black Lives, Black Lungs, it'll come up and take a look. It's only a 15-minute film, but it does trace the history and interviews a number of my colleagues and myself about where menthol comes from, what it's about, and what we need to do about it. Just a little shout out to Lincoln. I know he's making Black Lives, Black Lungs 2, 2.0, as it were. And I think it should be out at the beginning of next year sometime.
Now, well, I'd love to get him on the show as well and talk about his film in part 2. So if he's watching and maybe our producer can reach out to him, we'd love to get him on our show to talk with our students and in making documentaries. Very important subject. Dr. Phillip Gardiner, co-chair of the African American Tobacco Control Leadership Council. Where can people find your council on the web?
Go to savingblacklives.org. Just savingblacklives.org. You can find us there. Even though we're based in California, we work nationally. I'm currently working in the cities of Charleston, South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, some parts of Delaware, and of course, working on the national lawsuit. Hopefully the Biden administration will, they've taken a major step toward social justice, or at least making, overtures that way. Hopefully they will see this as a social justice issue that it is, and actually take some action on that.
Dr. Gardiner, we wish you the best of luck with the lawsuit, and we look forward to hearing from you in the future.
And have your producer contact me. I'll give Lincoln's Monday's contact information.
That sounds good. We'll have her do that. Thank you, Dr. Gardiner, for joining us this morning.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, we're going to move on to Shilpa Phanse of the Digital and IT Center of Excellence. And she's also one of the 2021 NISOD Award winners. First off, congratulations, Shilpa, on winning the award.
Thank you so much. I'm honored, and I wanted to extend congratulations to other award winners for 2021. I'm really honored. Thank you.
Tell us about the award itself. What was the reason you were nominated?
Well, this started as a vision by Southwest President and our Dean from DIT to integrate coding experiences and have some kind of Houston Teacher Coding Academy set up. And I was given the task to start this process, or to continue this process in terms of partnership with Houston school districts, Lamar University, Apple's Community Education Initiative. So this started with this, creating this Houston Teacher Coding Academy. And from that point, I started taking the role of the liaison that connect with the Houston school districts, different school districts in Houston area.
Well, I remember when we signed that agreement with Apple, and I think we were actually one of the first colleges in the country to work with the Swift coding, and that's the Apple coding system. Maybe you can tell us about that coding system, because That was about, I believe, 4 years ago when we started this, and we've moved forward with it. And I know it's a very popular coding system. And from what I understand, our courses aren't that difficult to get you online and ready to code pretty quickly.
Yes. So definitely this is the Apple curriculum, which is an open source. And we have integrated that in our curriculum at Computer Programming Division. We have mobile application development courses and certificate plans. We have also started including the design and coding. So we are in combination and trying to expand in that sense. So students can definitely get into without knowing anything about coding or design and start creating apps like you see on iPhone, iPads, like things like that.
How do teachers benefit from this? Because they can also learn coding and get certified as well, can't they?
Yes. So this was specifically targeted to school districts that were participating, and the teachers from there were selected, and they started taking some kind of training, leadership training and learning curriculum to develop that kind of curriculum in their network. And the same thing can be expanded within our faculty area here at Houston Community College. And they can get credentials, they can pursue higher education through universities, and they can continue with that process as needed.
And you guys also have summer camps where people can come in and learn to code. The kids can get a chance to get some coding done during the summer and earn some credits or certifications for that.
Definitely. And this is mainly targeted to middle school and high school students. And they learn through iPads. There is a very, everyone can code and everyone can create series that they go through. Learn coding concepts in a fun way by going through some kind of animations and tricks, and then they can spread the word and get into this kind of field when they come to the high school or get higher education.
And I understand you guys, you talked about apps earlier. Obviously, the coding is for these apps that you see. Everybody uses them. I've got dozens of them on my phone. But you guys have an Appathon coming up. Maybe you can tell us what that is and how do you get involved with that?
Yes. So Appathon, we started last semester where students come together for a 2-day camp. They participate and they get a credit for CE degree. And they design an app. So design an app doesn't mean that it is ready to be deployed, but at least they get a feel for what are the tools and techniques they can use using Apple technology or any other technology to create those kind of apps. And they can register themselves. The flyer is out there. They can go through that flyer and register themselves.
Tell us how things have been working with the onset of COVID. Are these coding techniques and learning how to code? Can you do that online, and has it been taking place?
Yes, definitely. The online component is always been there, and that we have been using that for quite some time. So it wasn't big deal to transition. Only thing is getting the device at the students' hands and getting the software uploaded in certain amount of time takes a learning curve. But once you do that, you are smooth to go with the coding experience.
What are the plans for the future? Are you guys going to be expanding this coding initiative?
Yes, definitely. And that's a very exciting news for us. We are expanding in terms of creating innovation labs at different campuses, Southeast, Northeast, Central South. And we are going to create those labs with all the devices set up so that students, faculty, staff, anybody who wants to create apps can get involved. Even the design or the development part, they can get involved and learn from there.
All right, Shilpa Phanse, we appreciate you being here. Congratulations being a 2021 NISOD winner and an Apple Fellow. We appreciate you joining us on the show.
Thank you so much.
And if you're interested in our coding program, well, we've got a program for you. You can sign up for classes. Right now we've got registration going on, and we'll have a link in our social media post to learn all about the coding. Okay, Frank Cooper on the show. It's a Friday. Frank, we got some news and events. Why don't you go through the first one, which is a science forum?
Absolutely. I can never say that word. Conversation, Ecology, Environmental Science Forum. So are you a college or high school student interested in career related to environment? Then join this career forum and network opportunity with local organizations with available volunteer, internship, and career positions. That will be April 21st, Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Attendees can register using the link in the post after the show.
All right, Frank, and then we've got other things going on. Occupational therapy, passion, purpose, and possibility. Interested in the trade? Occupational therapists are needed right now more than ever. And with April being Occupational Therapy Month, HCC will host 2 virtual advocacy events so students can learn how it impacts lives and communities. First one is happening 7 p.m. Wednesday, April 21st. They'll also have one at 7 p.m. Wednesday, April 28th. To register, we'll have the link in the social media post for the show. Virtual subs and sandwiches. MBDA is back, Frank.
Yes, indeed. The HCC Minorities Business Development Association are still getting together, but for business to business, matching, targeting minority business enterprises, but bring your own subs. It's still virtual. That's Wednesday, April 21st from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. So check your HCC events calendars to register.
Diversity awareness, intersectionality. What's that all about? In another counseling series hosted by Coleman College Student Life and SGA, attendees can discover how overlapping categories of identity impact individuals and institutions when it comes to stress, anxiety, and self-care. That happens 1 p.m. Thursday, April 22nd. The speaker is Brandy Lerman. To register, link to register will be in the social media post for the show. And the Creative Writing Club has something coming up, Frank.
They do. They're presenting a reading by multidisciplinary Houston artist and author Miranda Ramirez. She's been published in Ripples in Space, The Glass Mountain, Shards, The Bayou Review, The Coffin Bell, and that's coming up this spring as well, The Cowboy Jamboree. That will be Friday, April 23rd at 7 p.m. and it's free. Registration is required. We'll have that link in our post after the show.
All right, Path to Profession, like the traditional work-study program. Work-study, keep that in mind, folks. This provides students with job opportunities in their field by securing positions with community business partners, allowing them to earn money and gain real-world experience. The link to that info will be in the social media post. And you know what, folks? Spring registration, of course, well, spring almost over with. Summer registration's happening, though. Happening right now, along with the fall registration. We kicked that off this week, Frank.
We sure do. We sure do. So April 12th was people can register for fall classes. That's right, fall classes. You get in early to get your class times and all that good stuff put together. As well, face-to-face will start this summer. Face-to-face classes will start this summer. It'll still be smaller classes due to social distancing, but all the typical setups as well for modalities as far as online schedule, hybrid classes, hybrid labs. So all that's going on now, but face-to-face will start this summer. So for more information about that, go to hccs.edu/now to register.
So there you go. The registration is happening. And, keep in mind, if you're taking classes in person, they're going to be smaller class sizes. So you have the time now, figure out the time you want, the class you want, get registered early because those classes are going to fill up very fast. Now, we may have more of them because they're small classes, but you want to get the time you need. So now's the time to do so. And here's the cool part about it. If you're paying ahead of time in a payment plan, well, you have a longer time to pay because you don't have to pay till April, and we have several installments that are available. So make sure you sign up early, get the benefits of signing up early, and just have your mind at ease that you'll be registered for the fall. All right, so Frank, before we get to next week's shows, got a little sports to talk about. Let's start with the Astros. They seem to be doing well. Then all of a sudden they caught up with AJ Hinch, and he just had their number.
Yeah, it's just the long days of summer. Even though we're not in summer yet. I mean, with 160 some games season. You're gonna have your ups and downs, but at the end of the day, this is a good team. They have a lot going on. They're 500 right now, but I mean, that offense, that pitching staff, they're gonna get together. And I think news came down the pipe that Verlander might be back earlier than expected. So having that arm back in the rotation along with Greinke, they'll make their summer run as they normally do.
It's a long season, 162 games. So you got to see, I think they got off to a fast start. So that's always good. You got to beat the teams you need to beat. But now they're kind of just stuck in the mire and back to, I think, 500. So we'll see what happens. It's a very, very long season. The Rockets, they're still the Rockets, folks. The 2021 version, like the 2020 version, they ain't that good. So I don't know what to do about them, but maybe they'll get some good draft picks at least.
Yeah, they should. They should. I mean, they still have that first round draft pick that they supposedly traded away for Russell Westbrook, who was a top 5 particular pick. But as bad as their record is, them and Washington are gonna be battling for the top 2 with a top pick. And even though it's a lottery draft, but this team is not bad on accident. They're bad on purpose. They're bad as what they are. Like, they don't have enough talent.
Yeah.
So, when you're the board of talent in a superstar-driven league, you're not gonna win many games, But with new management here now, this is how we're gonna find out whether or not these guys are good enough to get a good draft pick, develop that draft pick, and put a good team around. Whether that's Jalen Suggs, whether that's Cade Cunningham, we'll see. But you have to hit this first round draft pick.
Yeah, you do. So there you go. We'll see what happens. But hey, other teams are doing very well. Stephen Curry, how about him, man? 30-point games in a row, 3 of them?
Yeah. I think the other night, he had like 40 points in like 28 minutes. Like, it was something ridiculous. Like, the guy's just on fire. And, in today's MVP race, you got Steph. But now in guard-oriented basketball, you have 2 centers right now who are battling for that MVP spot with Nikola Jokic in Denver and Joel Embiid in Philadelphia. So it could be the first time in 20 years a big man's won it. It's been a minute. I want to say since Shaq. So it's been a while since a big man won it, or Duncan, I want to say. So
we used to have a big man that would win those all the time.
Oh man, those were the days, man. Those were the days.
I know, when the Dream was around, Clyde was on that team. How we reminisce. We certainly miss that team. Hey, okay, Frank. Briefly though, it takes a while. Basketball, like baseball, it seems like you can turn those sports around pretty quickly. Get your team in place and you can really make a run. Football is a lot harder, and the local team, they got a long way to go before they can, a lot to be seen. And I guess there's a lot of question marks going into next season, and there's a lot to be seen with the Houston Texans. Yeah,
I mean, with no first round draft pick, and I think no second round draft pick, it really makes it hard to get those building blocks to get back out of the cellar in the NFL, especially in the AFC South. They gotta swing a trade if they want to be, active in this draft trade market. You gotta get some assets.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, they probably don't, and they roll out a team that was identical to last year.
With just different players, because they have shaking up that whole roster, and we're gonna have a lot of different players on that team.
Yeah. I mean, you have no secondary. You can't bring any pressure. You have no receivers.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to get wins, and I think they have their first round pick for next year. So if they do, then you might be looking at a top 3 pick based on the talent that you have right now.
So let's start looking at some players for the year after this one. So there you go. Yeah, that's a Texans attitude. The Texans are Texaning. There you go. All right. So next week on the show, we got some good guests. We'll continue to spotlight our NISOD winners, as we've got a couple of them on as well. And we've got some local restaurants as well.
Yes, we welcome the return of some of our regularly weekly guests, such as restaurant Hungry Like the Wolf as our culinary guest, Doc on the Run, Chris Segler as our fitness guest, and the Houston Museum of Natural Science will be here with us on Earth Day as our virtual family and fun day event.
Right. So we got a lot going on next week. Frank, have a good weekend. we'll see you next week, right?
Yes, sir. Tuesday and Friday.
All right. And we'll see all of you on Monday morning live, 10 a.m. right here and Up to the Minute. Have a great one.